Welcome to Trees in Space, the podcast that gives an honest review of movies that you think you might want to see. I'm Jason,
And I'm Nathan.
and this week we watched the one, the only, the awe-inspiring Halloween in honor of Halloween. It's rated R. It's a holiday movie according to the genre.
I
It's
mean,
horror.
it is Halloween is a holiday.
Yeah, it's mystery and a thriller. It was directed by John Carpenter. It's produced by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter and written by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter. It was released October 25th, 1978, before most of you were probably even born.
I wasn't even thought of. My dad hadn't even graduated high school yet.
So, and it got re-released in theaters in 2018, believe it or not. Not the remake, but it was re-released. And it made a box office gross in the US of 47.5 million with a runtime approximately 1 hour and 31 minutes long.
I think about 20 minutes of this movie could have been shaved off.
But you forget the thriller part because it's supposed to be a thriller. This is before the slashers. This brought the slashers into it. So, for those that don't know, and if you're listening to this and watching this right now about Halloween and you don't know, well, I don't know to tell you, but let me tell you about it. On a cold Halloween night in 1963, before even I was born, 6-year-old Michael Myers brutally murdered his 17-year-old sister Judith. He was sentenced and locked away for 15 years, but on October 30th, 1978, while being transferred for a court date, a 21-year-old Michael Myers steals a car and escapes Smith's Grove. He returns to his quiet hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, where he looks for his next victims.
Well, that's been Trees in Space, everybody. Pretty much sums up the movie right there, I think.
I'm assuming my co-host here was not a fan of the original Halloween.
Do you know what really bumped me the wrong way was the audio of the movie. The volume was really low, like the audio, because the movie was mostly shot outside, so I'm guessing the production quality wasn't up there enough. So they took a major hit with that being then it just took forever.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be a thriller. It's supposed to be a suspense.
Well, like when old girl in the beginning is like, "Oh, I forgot my chemistry book," and she's like, "Oh, that's fine. I forget my chemistry book. I forget my math book. None of that needed to be done. They could have just kept on walking and having a conversation, and that nothing would have changed."
Well, that's a lot with a lot of movies that have a lot of filler like that. And I think problem is we as 2023 people, we get a horror movie, it kind of starts off with some sort of scare, and then it kind of does a flashback or it goes from that point. It don't start off just a simple town. I mean, I guess this did start off with a scare because he kills his sister who's for some reason naked in front of her vanity brushing her hair.
Well, she just got done having sex.
Oh, and yeah.
She had panties on.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I didn't time this part, but watch the time when because it's Michael Myers' eyes who you're looking through at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
He looks in the window and he sees these two making out, and then they go upstairs and then he backs up and he sees a light go off, and he goes inside. He grabs the knife. He walks up to the stairs, and the boyfriend who went upstairs, is now coming downstairs with his shirt being pulled on. I don't think a minute passed from the time the lights went off to.
That seems about the appropriate amount of time that someone would need.
Yes, he
Especially
hit it. Yes, he got it and left. He's like, I'm out of here. He's like,
yeah, right.
He's like, I've got my shit and I'm gone. So, and this movie, I think it's a lot of praise because it was the first one, and it was epic and different and new, and it was supposed to be a suspense thriller, and it's now turned into a horror gore because of every movie since in the Halloween franchise. So
I definitely I never have to see this movie ever again.
so that
Now,
means next Hollow Trees, we're gonna do the remake that's more updated for us, right?
yeah, yeah, I never have to see this movie again. Like, I don't want to say I hated this movie because that would be a lie. I did not dislike it, but I didn't love it.
Right.
It's for I tried to take it at for what it was, and it was just the director took some takes. He'd made some choices. I hate those choices because it's his choice. I can praise some of the lighting that they chose on there.
hmm
In the some of the night scenes, they had cameras very properly put in that window and had her in the right spot. So they had a lot of real good perspective when shooting this movie at night, which I was very pleased with, especially for being a movie that came out in the 70s.
Right. Right.
Now, you weren't alive in the 60s, so do you know if bras were invented then?
You get me in the 70s, early 70s and 70s time frame, because it came out in 78, but I think they started making it in 76. Uh, that was,
Oh,
a lot of
78.
women, yeah, they just didn't wear bras. Bras was not really it was like free the nipples thing, and of course now trying to do it all over again, and God bless it, free the nipples for sure. But yeah, a lot of those movies have braless actresses, and I'm okay with that.
I
So.
just I was fine with it, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, here's a 70s movie.
but but see, and parts of this movie that because I loved it. I mean, I've always loved the movie, but now looking at it as a review or a more critique of the movie, I can see well because I watched it years and years ago, back when it was. I didn't watch it in '78, but it was the '80s when I watched it, so it was great, like scary movie for that time. So I see it through that lens. So it's kind of hard for me to, not think it's a great movie. I just didn't. When did he learn to drive? He stole a car. He killed someone at 6 and was 21 before he did anything else. And and well, they mentioned in the movie, which I thought was great. He goes, because when Loomis, that's the doctor of Michael Myers, said, "I can't believe you let him go." He goes, he ain't going back there. He goes, "Yes, he is." And the guy's like, "He don't even have a drive a car."
Well,
And Loomis goes,
taught him.
yeah, so much of time because he was doing fine of it yesterday. He was doing fine with it yesterday. So I loved that because they addressed the fact he was 6 when he went to prison or whatever. He shouldn't be able to drive a car, but he did. And you're like, why would he be able to drive a car? Well, he can't drive a car. Obviously, he can. He was doing it. So
And how the hell did he know how to get back?
that was another. There was no GPS. There was
Nope.
have maps and that, and he was. How would he know to get back? That's a very good
And
question.
then also, not for nothing, his reading and writing comprehension must be very minimal. So
hmm
it's not like he's reading street signs.
Yeah, well, I know, but apparently he's completely evil, possessed by a demon, so the demon must know how to read. But I will say I was very impressed, and if you're not carefully watching this movie, if you're like just kind of like zoning in and out, you're gonna miss a lot of the suspense parts, and that's when he's in the car. I mean, you see the one where he's outside the window, and Lori sees him in the car, so that was pretty obvious. And then the one when he drives by the 3 girls, and they go speed kills, and he slams on his brakes. He's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But all he's doing is slowing down, like she said. You're going too fast, so he's slowing down. That's nothing scary. But there was more than that. There was like 4 or 5 other scenes where they're walking, and that car is in the background and
Right.
slowly driving. And if you're not, but that's like this dude is stalking Lori. I mean, and I want to say that he's stalking Lori just because he went home and she happened to go to his front porch with the key at the beginning of the movie. Why else would he be stalking her? Now they make it different reasoning later on as the movie
It's
goes on.
very clever thought because I was trying to figure that out too. And I also thought that Lori was his sister.
That's what she becomes later on in the series. That's the different canon for it. But in the initial one, that was not a thing
Yeah,
Because
because I was trying to figure out that whole time, like, I'm like, didn't he killed his sister? And then I was like, well, maybe it was the babysitter the whole time. And I was trying to, maybe that's part of the reason why too.
hmm
And then that's another issue with trying to watch something that's a flashback or
right,
the original, because I already know that she's gonna make it.
and that is a good point. That's a good point. But because I until I watched it this last time, I didn't really put two and two together. I knew she wasn't the sister in the initial movie. I knew that, and that became later on. So I was like, well, why is he doing it? I know why Jason kills people. I know why Freddy was killing people. They told us immediately. But the only thing I can think of, like we were just talking about, he was home. She was with a little boy, Tommy,
Mm-hmm.
and she had to go to there to drop something off of the. I forgot why she had to go to the front porch.
Because they sold the house
Yeah,
and
so
putting the key underneath the doormat.
that's what it was. And then he sees her, and then he obsesses on her, and because he obsesses on her, that's why everyone else gets killed because he's trying to get to her, and they just happen to be in the way. And I mean, why was he in the neighbor's house? Why did he kill the first girl? What? Because he was going to go get the lorry, right?
I
And
don't know, but my mind is on how realistic the sex scenes were in these movies. This whole like it was like five pumps and done. I was like,
oh, that one when they showed him like they're messing around, and he gets on top of her, and
yep.
like, oh, and he rolls over. They smoke a cigarette. I'm like, dude, at least it's realistic. You're right. It's like, dude, we're getting our itch on, you know. Uh, it was. I really enjoyed the suspense part because of the car thing. He wasn't overpowering. He wasn't the zombie monster that Jason and he turned out to be later on. I mean, the end was a little crazy when he gets shot 6 fucking times and just walks away.
And
Okay,
then he
maybe.
falls out of a freaking
Yeah,
second story window.
right. It's
And he got stabbed. And he got shanked in the freaking eyeball with a coat hanger.
he did, he did. So he got in the neck a knitting needle in his
Yeah.
neck, and it was very okay. It was very slow build. I mean, he killed people in the other house. He killed them, and then they got rid of the little girl to go to the neighbor's house. So
Mhm.
so no girl was there, and then Lori had to go figure out what was going on. So they did that pretty well. I hated the first kill. Maybe not the first kill, but the kill in the car where he's choking her, and then he finally cuts her throat.
Yeah, it sounds like she's having an orgasm.
Yes, and it was very slow and like it doesn't look correct by
Right.
today's standards. Uh, but
Come on, we all know that's not how you choke a bitch.
exactly. I just and then I don't know why he put that body there with the tombstone of his sister. That
Yeah,
was
that made no sense.
there are a few things that were very confusing to me about what his mindset was about the things. I enjoyed that the cop listened to Loomis and then just call him an idiot and ignore him.
Exactly. I like Loomis. He had the I don't know, he has like a quirk about him. Like
hmm
even though all this shit like this maniac is on the loose, he still has a sense of humor about it all.
hmm
Like I could see him at the end and be like, "Hey, you want to go get a burger and fries? Like,
yeah.
we're gonna get a milkshake."
Well, because he was so scared of this guy that he's going back to do what? Because all he knew was he killed his sister, and he was in the insane asylum for 15 years. He ain't killed no one else. He hasn't
Hmm.
hurt no one else. He didn't destroy nothing else. He killed one person, and he was 6. So what made him think he was going to go on a killing spree? I mean, that's kind of a jump to conclusion right there.
Well, he said something like, "When I looked in his eyes, I could see pure black or something,"
Your
and
darkness.
so he just figured that he killed once, he's going to kill again.
I guess that's probably true.
But I mean, that is a decent leap to a conclusion.
It is. I just and I think one of the best parts of the whole movie is when she does stab him and he's laying down and she's sitting on the door, laying on the door jamb. And he's in the background and he does the Undertaker sit up thing. That
Or
that was wicked.
or when Loomis is standing outside of the store, facing the store, and Michael comes driving around behind
Yes.
him in the car. That was money. I really liked that. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like that's pretty clever. He's right there.
That's what I say. So you got to go into this movie thinking more of suspense than slasher.
And is it Jodie Foster? Is that who this is?
The actress,
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
She is a horrible actress in this movie.
She's not good.
So
Don,
bad.
Donald Pleasance is Loomis, and he's the best actor in the thing by far.
Oh, agreed.
He's an excellent actor.
So the bitchy friend,
Oh, she was great.
she played that role very well. And even the ditzy blonde, like I the assertive, like she seems like she's dumb, but she was like, "No, you go get me a beer.
Yeah.
You fucked me like that. You go."
And the one bitchy friend, the brunette, whatever, who the fuck is caught in a window trying to get out the window? And I mean, who takes off their whole clothes because they spill whatever on oil or something on herself? So she got completely nude and just put on another man's shirt.
Yeah, like I can
Yeah,
understand maybe the shirt,
yeah.
but the pants too.
It was just
It was a choice.
it was. I guess we wanted to see side boob. Because that's all you got to see was side boob. And the part when all the people were dead because he didn't kill many. I mean, he killed the truck driver, the car driver, whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, they show the body on the side, and
He
then
killed
he kills
the nurse.
the nurse. What nurse?
Didn't he kill the nurse that was in the car with the doctor?
No, she got out.
Oh, did she get out? Okay.
She gets killed later on in like the one they made like 3 years ago. She comes back and gets killed.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah, it is.
This close to retirement.
I'm 1 week away from retirement. Stupid Michael Myers. But he only kills like 3 people. But I do like when he kills the guy because he opens the door and then he just comes out of the closet and then picks him up and stabs him and he's hanging there and Michael does the head thing.
Oh my god. The the effect of the knife. Like you could tell the knife was on the outside of him or
Yeah.
on the inside between the arm based off of the depth perception of the.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh my god, it's so bad."
It was really bad, but and the knife had to be extremely long for the hilt of it still be sticking out of his chest
Yes.
and all the way through his body and stuck into a door and holding him up. That knife was not that long,
It was
but
like
it
6
worked.
inches were still hanging out.
But he just did his head like this, and I like that part. But I don't get his when he was revealed dead to Lori when she's screaming and stuff. He just swings into the door frame. Like, what was holding him up there? Why did he suddenly just pop loose? I
Yeah, do they
mean,
have a trapeze just hanging above a door?
I don't know what that was. I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm just. But all in all, let's see what Rotten Tomatoes and the Rotten Audience says. Okay, Rotten Tomato score 96%. I've never seen a movie higher than 96%. Audience rating 89%. And as I said before, I'm pretty sure it's all about nostalgia when it comes to this movie. Um, so, and for our viewers to know that I couldn't find no 1 star, so the lowest I could find was 2. Uh, but a 5 star from Daniel M. Halloween 1978 is an absolute must see with a horrifying story with iconic kills, an an amazing atmosphere I've ever seen in a horror film, the best horror soundtrack ever made. That might be true. Jaw dropping suspense and an iconic performance delivered by the queen herself, Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay. This should have been my what the F. This should have been my what the F.
Oh my gosh, she was so bad.
Mm.
Like, and did you? Okay, so you're an older man.
Mm-hmm.
Were you attracted to her? Was
No,
she? Okay, she wasn't very attractive.
no.
She couldn't really act very well. Like it was okay, but
Right.
like when the Michael Myers scenes, like I couldn't get into it. like I couldn't believe like
Yeah, she just what was her first movie. So I mean, and she's Tony Curtis's daughter, so I think she's got the okay to do the movie, and she's gotten better since 40 years ago.
I love her Activia commercials.
Yeah. I think the only time I was really attracted to her at all was when she was in Trading Places,
Oh,
and
came Lindsay Lohan.
Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd Trading Places, a great movie.
Oh,
And when she was in what's that Schwarzenegger movie where he's the spy, True Lies. You
oh.
know, yeah, when she's dancing in her little bikini, that's pretty hot. So
Uh, so I whatever these 1-star reviews here that we got here, Nico B. This movie isn't bad by any means, but it's extremely overrated. It's the first real slasher film. Okay, but is it? It has no interesting plot. The characters are the typical horny teenagers we know from other horror films. Which, if this is the
this is the
first,
first. So
then
this
isn't
is the
every
reason.
other one
No,
another remake of this movie?
all the other ones are because of this movie. Yes, so that's not correct.
So this man is clearly illiterate. The music and the iconic Halloween theme is great, and the movie has great camera work too. There is just barely anything interesting about the movie. Michael has no personality, and so does Laurie. Dr. Loomis is the only character who is all right.
That's pretty accurate, except for the like other horror movies with the horny teens. But I mean, they all have it now because of this. So that's what we were saying. The
Like
camera work.
Laurie was just a bit of like a whiny little bitch.
She was like, yeah, she was the goody two, which it comes the tropes, the horror tropes. The goody two shoes virgin that don't have sex lives. The one that doesn't do the drugs lives, even though she got high in the car.
She definitely did.
And I don't give a damn what they're saying. Yes, that cop smelt that fucking joint when she pulled over. But he's
That's cool, man.
there's no fucking way he did
Windows are
not
down.
smell
You're
that.
cool, man. You're cool.
Yeah, there's no way her daddy didn't smell that. There's no way. Um, Tony M. Halloween is a masterpiece of horror. This is a movie I grew up watching and still watch today. I really like Donald Pleasant as Dr. Loomis. Only he understands the true evil of Myers.
Yeah, but after the movie,
Yeah.
they all understand.
Yeah.
Like,
They
think
figured
about
it out
right.
pretty fast.
Yeah, you're gonna know. Just wait till next Halloween. They'll know again. Luke's family and friends. It is painfully boring. Slow pacing, not scary, average kills, but has good acting, and of course, Michael Myers. I want to like it, but I just can't. It's overrated. While Lucas and family and friends, I agree.
Yeah, that's good acting. No, I mean Donald Pleasant just overacted everyone. The main character, like you said, she did not do great. But the side characters, they weren't that bad for the movie
No,
that it was.
like make the brunette the lead with
Mm-hmm.
like she like when she was in a scene. To me, she took the scene.
She did. She was the best part of the scene. I think so. Now, Aaron A. By far one of the best thrilling, climatic, and atmospheric horror films made. John Carpenter, thank you. And by the way, John Carpenter does The Thing and Vampires, which are really good movies too.
Daniel C. The soundtrack of the movie is spectacular, just perfect, but the rest of the movie itself is boring.
Okay, so it seems to me that even the negative and the positives, well, e- the negatives agree. The soundtrack is amazing. I mean, that's Halloween. That's the scary. Do you not agree
It
with the
sounds like
soundtrack?
somebody with a Casio keyboard hitting buttons.
Do you not hear that every Halloween you go to when you go through haunted houses and stuff? It's the quintessential Halloween scary theme. That and 1, 2, Freddy, and the that one
That
scares me more.
that one gets me.
Yeah,
If I hear
Yeah.
Bitch, I'm out. Like all this other stuff is like, all right.
But they agree. I think they agree with us. No personality in most of the characters. But it was. I think it was a B movie when it was made. I don't even think it was supposed to be a top notch. But just like Saw, the very first Saw,
Oh.
it was just so well done. They kept doing it. So, and now the WTF response, and the reason I wrote this down is for this reason, which I'm going to explain. We talk in just a classic Michael Myers at his peak. It is a
So
classic.
this first movie?
Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so
Like
glad.
at 9. Like you're just
How do
you
you
know,
peak at 9? Yes.
yeah.
How is your first movie peaking? Why is there more? I mean,
That's so unfortunate that your best film was your first film.
if Michael Myers at his peak, there are 12 of these movies, and
And bound to be more.
yeah, and number 3 isn't Michael Myers at all, but everything else is Michael Myers, and this is his peak. This is his peak. And they might be right. So, anyways, that's like, what the hell? Um, After watching this with fresh eyes, I know it's a classic, iconic character. The Scream Queen, she's who she is because of this movie. The music, the soundtrack, all those things are beautiful about it. The pacing's slow, supposed to have been. But I cannot. The kills were not great. But I want to rate this for the time period, but I'm not in that time period.
I'm rating it on a curve.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go low here for what most people gonna think it is. I agree more with the disagreement who put the 2.5 stars, and I'm gonna stay there with two trees, one stump.
I was hovering between 2 trees and 2 trees and a stump, and I think what's going to sway me with the stump is because of when this movie was made and the cinematography that they actually chose to do and the angles and the lighting. It was shot extremely well.
It was.
Soundtrack, again, some guy on a Casio hitting keyboard, hitting buttons. Do 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 do. Hey, that sounds cool. Yeah, let's do.
That was really good. That was a really good imitation of that. That was nice, Nate.
Like that's all it is, and then it's do 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 do.
That's
Like
good. Damn, you got a really gift for hearing exactly how it is and coming back with it. That was nice. I couldn't have done that.
like that's just all Casio keyboard work. So yes, it's impactful, and because of it being used in this movie, I'll say it's iconic. Not gonna shit all over it. I wouldn't have created anything better. I will give it 2 trees and a stump.
Well, it looks like we agree, and that's what we're here to do, and that's not agree. So
Have we agreed yet?
I don't think so. We've been with half a stump of each other before, but
Yeah, I don't think we've agreed.
I don't think so either. So thank you everybody for listening. I hope you have a great day. Please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, tell somebody, share this with somebody. And if we happen to crap on your favorite movie, tell us why. And if there's a movie that you think we should talk about, let us know that too. And y'all have a good day.